Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to Fundamental Supersize Business Strategy number 20. And this is the fear strategy. I will admit this is one of the easiest to use, and you'll find it very oftenly used to market events, to market online products and services, webinars, seminars, coaching programs. Pretty much anything, you name it, you will see this particular strategy used. Well, what the heck's a fear strategy? The fear strategy is mostly a marketing strategy, but it is about finding something that your target audience is afraid of and then build that up and provide the solution. So, of course, I'm going to share 10 different ways to overcome fear, because those are all strategies that you can use or products and services you can use as a response to stimulating fear in the first place. Now, ethically and morally, I think just like all business strategies, they need to be applied in a way that doesn't promote fear mongering, although you'll see a lot of marketing that does, that builds trust through transparency, transparent pricing, transparent information, transparent and honest communication. We want to balance fear with empowerment, right? If you just scare people, they're going to freeze and they're not going to do anything. They'll get confused. A confused mind always says no. So I especially caution with this strategy using it in unethical ways. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of examples of this whenever it is a campaign year, especially a presidential campaign in America. We see a whole lot of fear-mongering, name-calling, and absolutely fear-based marketing that it just makes my skin kind of crawl. So I want to share 10 ways to reduce fears, because you're going to use those different industries. This particular strategy is suited to. I think insurance, health products, medical care, any illnesses, online. Again, online, it's used almost exclusively. Not almost exclusively. It's used dramatically more often than in offline marketing and sales. And then I'll share the 4 steps let's do that first. Let's talk about the 4 steps to applying this fear marketing strategy to your business, your products or services. Number 1, you're going to highlight the consequences of someone not taking action. Marketing and our strategies are all about getting people to take action. So we're going to highlight things like addiction, insurance. What if an accident happens and you don't have adequate coverage? Things like that. Second thing we're going to do is create a sense of urgency. Again, here's one where the online community and the online world use it extensively. The whole fear of missing out thing, FOMO, which is, I got to tell you, I don't think I ever heard the term FOMO before the internet came into play. But the fear of missing out, they use it, or I use it too sometimes, I admit it, to market events. Hey, this is available for a limited time only. A lot of products and online digital products and services are launched and then paused and then launched and then paused. It's the whole, again, another strategy for growing and supersizing your business. But that's all based on fear, the fear of not getting in on, the maiden launch, the first time a product or service is offered. Third step is to emphasize the risks and the threats. I learned this one from Russell Brunson and the gang at ClickFunnels as part of how you create the perfect webinar. A webinar, or a way of communicating, or speech, or whatever you use that framework for. And you want to, talk to people's 3 main areas of limited beliefs, which are fear, right? Our limited beliefs are fear. And so we also share how to overcome them. But the 3 main areas where we see this really, really being used is cybersecurity. And believe me, if you've had your black screen of death appear, you know exactly what I'm talking about and how scary that can be if you depend on your technology for generating sales, etc., for your business. Safety equipment, safety, think of COVID, how much marketing was then targeted based on our fear of, oh my God, if I get within 6 feet of someone, I'm going to get COVID. I better get a vaccine or I'm going to get COVID. Guess all of it isn't necessarily true. We have to go through all of it with a grain of salt. So health, cybersecurity, and safety equipment are where you'll see a lot of the emphasis on the risks and the threats and things like that. We also see it in political campaigns if you're paying at all any attention. And then finally, we want to leverage social proof and share people's stories about the ones that got in to the program or the course or the training or the event, and the ones, maybe not the ones that didn't, but hey, if you don't, you might miss out on these things that Jack, Joni, and Sam all experienced. So what are some ways that we can overcome fear? We stimulate this fear and we exacerbate it for people. Well, we sure better give them a solution to eliminate it, or they're not going to take action and buy our products and services. First thing that we can do is face our fears through gradual exposure. The more people are exposed to this type of marketing, the less effective it'll be. And so we'll probably see a decline in it. Although fear is one of the basic human emotions, so probably not, because emotion sells all day long, stories sell all day long. People do what works. It's why the news is so negative. It's because that's what gets people's attention. That's what they watch. I will admit, I don't watch the news, but I fall prey to the headlines on social media that pique my curiosity, get my attention, and they're almost always negative. And I'd like to think that I'm a pretty positive person. It's another way to deal with fear. Well, take time out, take a pause, take a stop, take time out, take a couple of deep breaths and ask yourself, is this really true for me? Do I really need to be afraid of this? If I don't go to this event right now, is it really going to have a huge negative impact on my life? No, the answer is no, because almost all these things, especially online, come around again and again and again. Third, we want to breathe through panic. A lot of times when we're scared or frightened or fear's been exacerbated and pumped up in us, we stop breathing, or we breathe really, really shallow or just in our throat. And sometimes all we have to do is take a big deep breath, count to whatever works for you, 3, 4, 10, and then exhale through your mouth. And that will help us to be more rational and not be as afraid. Remember, anxiety is not harmful. It's a natural base human response. And so we want to make sure that we're not getting over anxious because we are, momentarily afraid of something. We want to challenge unhelpful thoughts. Guess what? Whenever we're afraid of anything, somebody will say, well, if you don't do this, you'll miss out on that. And then all of a sudden our brain starts feeding us more evidence to make that true for us. So it'll tell us every opportunity we missed out on, or everything we think we missed out on. That's why this is such a powerful strategy, because it gets us actually applying more evidence to it all on our own, just because something is mentioned. We don't want to try to be perfect. And I've never had this problem. Perfection isn't one of my areas of concern, but for a lot of people it is. And they're afraid that if they miss this or don't do that or whatever, that it'll never happen again, or that they won't be perfect. And guess what? None of us are perfect. Talk through if there's a problem or challenge. It's why so many products and services come along with communities, because people can talk to other like-minded people and reduce their fears based on what other people have experienced and how they have solved certain problems for themselves. We got to live our lives. I mean, we cannot live our lives based on fear of the news, fear of the media, fear of misinformation, fear of anything. We need to keep moving forward and live our lives, because a lot of the things that we think we're going to be affected by, we absolutely positively aren't really affected by them. Take care of yourself. I think we talk about that a lot. That goes without saying. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. Especially when we're afraid, we tend to shut down some of our good habits. And then finally, another strategy for dealing with fear is to reward yourself. Maybe you reward yourself by buying the product or service. That's exactly what marketing companies want you to do. So, curious, do you use fear-based marketing in your business to supersize and grow your business, or in your presentations? Share in the comments below, just yes or no, so we can learn from one another. Go out, make it an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow with another fundamental or foundational supersizing your business strategy that you could use or apply to your business right now. Like I said, if you're in insurance, health, online, do events, etc., it is an extremely powerful strategy. Just want to use it with our ethics and our core values in mind. All right. Have a great day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.